Hey, what's going on, guys? Starting up the stream right now. Hope you guys all having a good day. Obviously here to talk about some Tuesday Night Football in the Showdown Slate with Buffalo and Tennessee. Hope you guys had a good night last night. It went really well for me. My lineup with Emmanuel Sanders and the captain, I told you guys I was going with that. In the live stream, we get a little bit different. It ended up working out big time. The Keenan Allen injury was the only thing that held me back, but still it was a really, really good night. I know a lot of you had really good nights as well. So let's see if we can keep it going for this slate. We did get some big news, with the inactives. We have John Brown as well as Zach Moss, both inactive. The Moss news does surprise me because he was practicing. But now that makes Devin Singletary one of the top plays of the day, in my opinion. John Brown being out makes Davis more viable. Diggs is already a guy that's probably going to target a bunch, maybe a slight boost to Beasley. So we'll talk about that. But first, real quick, if you guys are new to the channel, new to the live stream, how this works is I'll go over first the Vegas odds as well as some snap counts if you guys missed that in my video. And then I'll give you, kind of a player-by-player breakdown talk, cash, GPP, and then get to questions at the end. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So right now, 52 over-under. I believe that went up a little bit. I could be wrong, but yeah, 52 over-under, definitely on the higher side of totals, with the Bills currently being 3.5-point favorites. So what's going on, guys? Hope you guys all having a good day so far. I should probably tweet out that I am live. Bear with me 1 second here. Let me just tweet it out so people know if they do not have, if they did not hit the notification bell. Yeah, so, all right, let's go over these snap counts really quick, and then, teams in their most recent games. So Tennessee, last time they played was Week 3. We know Derrick Henry's going to be a workhorse. Played 75% of snaps. He's going to get a ton of work. McNichols, Evans got worked in a bit, but they're nothing you can really recommend with confidence in the slate. The Tennessee wide receiver situation is really kind of a headache. We do have A.J. Brown out. We have Davis, Bass, and Humphreys all with COVID. They're all out. Raymond will be the number 2 receiver, and then it looks like Westbrook is going to be the number 3 receiver. So, again, we'll talk about that more in a bit. Tight end situation, Juju Smith is going to play a majority of the game. He played 88% of snaps last game. Pruitt played 33%. He's actually out, so I think Ferkser does get a little bit more work. Another, viable punt play. Him, Westbrook at the flat min are definitely viable here. Buffalo, so I mentioned Singletary. He played 89% of snaps with no Moss. I think we get more of the same again. So I do really like Singletary here. I think he's going to play basically the entire game. He's a guy they'll utilize through the air as well as on the ground, and the price is very fair. So Singletary probably is my favorite play for his price on the slate. Wide receiver situation, last game that, obviously Diggs and Brown played a majority of the game, but we have John Brown out. So Gabriel Davis is going to step in that number 2 role. I think he makes for a really solid value play. Beasley at playing out a slot will probably play 60-ish% of the snaps. He only played 30 that last game. Again, he left and came back from an injury, so don't be too worried about that. Tight end situation, Croft and Knox are fine. Knox is the starting tight end, played 48%, Croft 33%. They're not utilized a whole lot, but they're still in play. They're at cheap price tags enough where you can consider them. A.J. Brown in, I meant. Did I say A.J. Brown out? Yeah. A.J. Brown in, Davis, Baston, and Humphreys out. So, all right, let's talk about let's go player by player here. Start at the top, Josh Allen at 13K. Again, he's had an unbelievable start to the year. 33, 37, 36, and 25 fancy points. He's a guy that can get it done on the ground a bit, too. We saw it the first game with 14 carries for 57 yards. Not so much the last 3 games, but this is a good matchup. Tennessee, not very good defensively. Sure, maybe he's a little bit overpriced on the slate, but the floor is super, super high with him right now, and this Bills offense is rolling, so I think he's a safe play. Always on these showdown slates, if you're playing cash games, probably try to get both quarterbacks in there. But both running backs look good, too, with Singletary and Derrick Henry are going to be workhorses, so sure, right. He's pricey, but definitely still someone I'm looking to even at an elevated price point. Derrick Henry is at 11K. Yeah, right. I mean, he is going to get a lot of work, right? 31, 25, 26 carries the first 3 games. The one downside, Derrick Henry, is just not a big involvement in the passing game. So I think the way he doesn't get you there tonight is if the Titans fall behind early, which is definitely possible, right? This Bills team has looked really, really good. So I don't necessarily think Derrick Henry's a must-play tonight. I think he's a scary fade because he's going to get a good amount of work probably no matter what. But I think the way he doesn't get you there is if Buffalo gets off to an early lead and then Tennessee's forced to throw the ball a bit more. Because they are a run-first team, obviously, with Derrick Henry. So those are kind of the positives and negatives with Henry there at that price. Stephon Diggs at 10-6 with no John Brown. I mean, he's been also really, really good this year. 9, 13, 6, and 7 targets, averaging about 8, 9 targets a game. Perfectly fine. He's obviously the clear number one now with no John Brown too. So another guy that feels maybe a little bit pricey, but it's for good reason. And if you want to pair him with Josh Allen here on the Showdown slate, I have absolutely no issue with that. There are some potential value plays I'll talk about, which I think you can fit him in if you want to. So yeah, Diggs will probably be somewhat popular, but it's hard to argue what him and Josh Allen are doing right now. And if you want to play them both, that's perfectly fine. Ryan Tannehill's at 9.8. I think it's a very, very, very fair price. He's not a guy that's really going to break the slate in my opinion, but I think the floor is pretty high with him. Again, downside Tennessee, kind of a run-first team, but Tannehill's a guy that can get it done on the ground a little bit. Not an amazing rusher, but wouldn't be surprised if he gets you like 20, 30 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Definitely possible, right? So, for his price, he's someone that I'm definitely looking to. And again, for safety, both quarterbacks or both running backs, I think for a cash game lineup, I'd probably try to get 3 of the 4 guys in of the quarterbacks and running backs. So that being Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Tannehill, and Devin Singletary. I would probably try to get 3 of those guys in. You can fit all 4, but you have to play someone really cheap in the captain if you go that route. So, yeah, let's talk about A.J. Brown now at 8.8. He is going to be the number 1 receiver here for Tennessee. Hasn't played since week 1. Right now, I'm listing him more of a contrarian play for his price. Again, Tennessee more of a run-first team, but with all the guys being out for Tennessee wide receivers, he is probably going to get targeted a decent amount. So, yeah, A.J. Brown, definitely playable. If you don't want to play Stephon Diggs on the other side and you want to play number 1 receiver, you can definitely go to A.J. Brown. Yeah, I think he's definitely someone that's playable, but I'm not really prioritizing him on this slate. Singletary is the guy that I'm personally prioritizing at 8K. He's my favorite play on this slate for his price. Last couple of games has basically played like 90% of the snaps with no Zach Moss. Zach Moss is out again, so I think we're going to get pretty similar workload here. 13 and 18 carries, 6 and 5 targets. I just think the floor is really, really high in him. It's a good matchup here, too, against, obviously facing off against Tennessee. So I really like Devin Singletary at his price. Probably my favorite play on the slate. Juju Smith at 7.2 is, again, feels a little bit pricey, but he's been really good. He's a guy that I can look to in the red zone. He has 3 touchdowns so far in 3 games. Yeah, again, a lot of the Tennessee guys are out, right? So it's basically him and A.J. Brown for wide receivers that Tannehill has to throw to. I'm perfectly fine with Juju Smith. I have absolutely no issue. I feel like he's maybe a little bit pricey, but doesn't matter. He can definitely get you there. Again, 7.58 targets, a guy that can look to in the red zone. So perfectly fine if you want to go that route. Cole Beasley at 6.8. I don't know if his role changes too much with John Brown outright because he's going to play out of the slot. He'll play 60-70% of the snaps. So yeah, his role, in my opinion, won't change much, but floor's somewhat high in him, 7.6, 7.4 targets. 6.8 does feel a little bit pricey, but I'm perfectly fine with Beasley at this price. I think he's a pretty solid play in the mid-range. Let's see again, no Corey Davis. Then they have the backup quarterbacks there. Again, John Brown, a little bit surprising, but he's inactive. So Gabriel Davis, who I guess we'll get to right now at 4.6K, I think looks like a really nice value play. He's going to step in to be, the number 2 wide receiver. Obviously, again, they have Cole Beasley, but he's going to be playing out the slot. So Gabriel Davis will play out wide, opposite of Stephon Diggs. And the price tag is very, very good for him, in my opinion. Now, he hasn't gotten a ton of work, right? 2, 1, 4, 1 targets. He's converted those all into catches. but his snaps are going to go way up here with no John Brown. So definitely a value play I'm looking to at that price. Again, no Humphreys. Let's see. Defenses with the Bills and the Titans. Bills defense at 5K. For single entry, I just don't think I can do it. If you're making a lot of laps, yeah, right, because all the defense really needs is like a pick six, fumble recovery six, punt return touchdown to really have like a pretty decent day. But it is 5K. I don't know. I think that's a little bit too much for me to really feel comfortable about going there for one lineup. Now, sure, right, if you're mass multi-entering, making a ton of lineups, of course you can incorporate the defenses, but I'm not really looking to them for one lineup here. Raymond at 4.8, I think will be somewhat popular. He's going to be the number 2 receiver. Stepping in, obviously, with no Davis, no Humphreys. He had 3 catches, 3 targets, over 100 yards that last game. Another guy like Gabriel Davis, I think they're very, very similar plays, right? They're almost at identical prices, and they're both going to be, stepping into the number 2 role for wide receiver. So, yeah, these are definitely guys you can look to for value options. Kickers are always in play. Floor of about 5, ceiling about 15. I have no issue if you want to get to one of those guys in GPPs. They're definitely cash viable too. Kickers do have a somewhat high floor. So, yeah, if you want to incorporate one of those kickers, that is no issue with me at all. The Buffalo tight ends I'm not overly excited about with Knox and Croft. Doesn't mean they can't get you there. All they need is like 1 touchdown, right? 3 targets the first 3 weeks here for Knox. Croft is a guy that will pick up a few targets here. Actually, 5 and 3 the last couple of games. Again, they're in play here. 3, 4, and 2K are fair, but I'm not like super excited about jamming either of them in. Titans defense, probably not going to get to. The Bills offense has looked really good. But again, all they really need is 1 pick six. But for me, single entry guy, I'm not really looking to either defense on this slate. And now we're kind of getting to the dart throw range. So, yeah, a couple people asked me about Isaiah McKenzie. I'm not overly excited about it. I don't know if he's going to see really enough snaps for me to feel really comfortable with him. He played 34% of the snaps the last game. That was with Beasley kind of going down a bit. So, if we go back a week, let's see what he played week 3. Week 3, 27%. Yeah, he'll probably hover 25 to 30% of the snaps. Is a speedster, so I guess you can look to him at $800. A couple other guys I do want to mention down here. Yeldon will be the backup, but not really getting enough snaps for me to warrant playing him. 2 other cheap guys I want to mention. Ferkser at the flat min. Did have 2 and 4 targets the first couple of weeks. And with no Pruitt, he should step into the number 2 tight end role and probably play 40-ish% of the snaps. Or if you look at the last game, we go to Tennessee, go to tight ends. Pruitt played 33%, Ferkser played 25%. You probably push this for 40-ish% of the snaps. So definitely someone you can look to as a cheap play. And the last guy is Westbrook here. He is actually going to start. He will be the number 3 receiver. Now, how many snaps is he going to get? Well, let's look at Tennessee and the wide receiver situation. Let's go to Tennessee, sorry. So, their last game, the number 3 receiver was Adam Humphreys. He played 52% of snaps. So, I think we probably get about half the game here for Westbrook. And he's at the flat man price. So, very, very similar play, in my opinion, to Callaway yesterday, right? Talked about him with the Saints. I said he's my favorite, really cheap guy. And I forget what he finished with. He had like 3 or 4 catches, I think at least. And kind of the same thing right with Tyler Johnson for the Bucks a couple Saints ago. So yeah, this is a guy that I'm definitely eyeing for value. Oh sure, right. There's the risk. He doesn't have a catch yet this season. We haven't really seen a whole lot from him. There's no real guarantee. Like if he plays bad, that could always go to someone else. But at $200, I think it's at least worth a try. I'm just actually going back to see how many catches Callaway had that last game for the Saints. So I'm curious. He had 4 catches for 34 yards. Yeah, so that's really it for me for the player-by-player breakdown here. So let's talk about captains. For safety, I think, either quarterback or either running back, just because, again, they do have the highest floors. Like, my probably favorite player right now is Singletary, if you want to go that route. The quarterbacks, if you do play Josh Allen and the captain, I would say get some correlation there. So probably play at least a couple of his receivers. If you do go that route. Now it is, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot. If you plug him in the captain, you do only have $6K remaining. If you go Tannehill, kind of the same thing, right? Get some correlation in there. Probably get a couple of other receivers. Guys, it's on these showdown sites, I think it's about, 75% of the time the GPP winning lineup has either a running back or a wide receiver in the captain. So if you're shooting for that upside, again, both running backs look really good because Henry is a workhorse. Singletary with no Moss is going to be a workhorse. So I feel pretty safe about the running backs. My one concern with Derrick Henry is no real involvement in the pass game. So if they do fall behind early, they might phase him out a little bit. So I think Derrick Henry is fadeable. It's a really, really risky fade, but it's not like Kamara last night, right? I told you guys I'm playing Kamara no matter what, because Kamara is a guy game flow independent. Henry, you could argue the same thing. If they fall behind, they'll probably still go to him in the ground, but maybe not as much, right? So that is the only risk there with Henry. Let's see, guys in the mid-range for captain that I'm considering. I think Raymond and Davis are viable. Both are going to step into bigger roles here. Both are at fair prices. And then finally, some cheapies, right? So I think Westbrook at flat min. Ferkser is a little bit riskier, but you can look to him. If you want to go Isaiah McKenzie, that's okay too. But if you do go someone cheap in the captain, you can basically plug in whoever else you want into your lineup, right? You can just jam in basically everyone else. So that's always a viable build. All right, so we got about 10 minutes until lock. I'll get to some questions now. Real quick though, guys, hit that like button if you enjoy the content and also subscribe if you haven't already. Josh Allen at captain. Come on, people, that's a no-brainer. Raymond or Davis. So what's up, Snow? Raymond or Davis? Yeah, that's a tricky one. Again, both are going to step into bigger roles here. I don't really have a strong take, to be honest. Raymond's at 4.8. Davis is at 4.6. If you're going to make me pick, I'll go Gabriel Davis because I like the matchup a little bit better on his side. But yeah, it's not really a strong take there. Who are you going with at captain? Well, I've messed around with builds a little bit here. And I'm taking a pretty risky approach. I think if I was playing this safety for a lot of money, I'd probably play Singletary at captain. But I'm taking risks. I'm willing to do it. I'm playing Westbrook actually at the captain to jam in basically everyone else in my lineup. So yeah, that's the route I'm going. It's a super, super risky approach. I never play a ton on these showdown slates. They're super, super high variance. I know, the last 3 or so I've done really well, but I'm just never going to risk a ton just because of the super high variance. Let's see. Ferkser or Croft? For me, it's probably Ferkser there. Again, both pretty similar plays. Croft is 200, Ferkser is the flat min. Yeah, I think I would slightly prefer Ferkser there. Who do you prefer with the Buffalo tight end? For me, it's Knox. Again, that's not really a strong take either, because the Buffalo just doesn't really go to their tight ends a whole lot. But if you maybe pick, I'll play Knox there. Let's see. Captain Singletary, Allen, Ryan, Westbrook, Henry, Gostkowski. Perfectly fine with that. Do you like Captain Singletary, Flex, Josh Allen, Diggs, Brown, Davis, and Ferkser? Wait, which Brown? Oh, A.J. Brown. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Ferkser and Westbrook, same lineup, gives me Captain Allen, Henry, Singletary, and Diggs. Again, it's risky. You're playing 2 min-price guys. Neither are going to be involved a whole lot in the offense, most likely. But all the guys at $200 really need to get you is probably 2 or 3 catches. So DK, you worried about the Bills front 7? I've got the cash to get to Henry over Diggs. Yeah, the Bills defense is, in my opinion, better than Tennessee. I don't really think that's a strong take either. So Henry is a guy that It's a tricky one. He's gonna get a good amount of carries. It's just no real involvement in the passing game worries me a little bit. Let's see. Do you think fading both running backs is too risky? I think so. Just because like both are workhorse backs. If they were like running backs only played like 50-60% of the game, then I could say you could fade them. But Singletary's going to play a majority of the game, and same with Derrick Henry. So I personally wouldn't fade both. I don't like Raymond and Westbrook in the same lineup, especially with Henry in it as well. I mean, again, it's doable. It's all about how much you really like Tennessee, though. How many Bills and how many Titans? I guess it kind of goes with what's with your roster construction and how you're playing it. Are you willing to take some risks? Are you trying to play safe? Core. I don't really give cores on showdowns. For me, it's going to be Singletary for sure. I think he is my favorite play with no Zach Moss. I would say get one of the quarterbacks in there, and then Diggs. Mine is Captain Singletary, Josh Allen, Diggs, Gostkowski, Knox, and Juju. So you're playing two tight ends. Again, I don't have like a strong. I'm not really opposed to that. It is a little bit risky, playing Knox, but all he needs is a couple catches. Let's see. My line is Gabriel, Davis, Allen, Henry, Diggs, Singletary, and Westbrook. Go Tennessee Titans. Diggs or Henry? Well, running backs do have a higher floor than wide receivers. So if you're playing for safety, it's Henry. Henry probably has close to as much upside as Diggs, but yeah, so that one's tricky. I guess it's what does the rest of your lineup look like? How many Bills versus how many Titans? Safety, it's Henry. Upside, both do have a good amount of upside, so they'll be close there. Smith or Beasley? Oh, Juju Smith or Beasley? Also pretty close for me. I think it would be Juju Smith, but that's not really a strong take either. Should you put Tannehill and Henry in the same lineup? I think that's perfectly fine. Henry's not going to catch a lot of passes, but yeah, you can definitely play both together. I don't see an issue with that. I see Gostkowski in the winning lineup. I just think Titans struggle to find the end zone. Yeah, if you think that's, build your lineup with how you think the game flows, right? If you think Tennessee can move the ball, but maybe can't punch it in, then yeah, kicker is going to look good. Captain Raymond, Diggs, Allen, Tannehill, Singletary, Westbrook thoughts? Perfectly fine with me. How does this look, DK? Captain Josh Allen, okay. Henry, Singletary, Beasley, Gostkowski, and McKenzie. So it is a little bit risky, right? McKenzie's not going to play a ton, but doesn't have to do a whole lot to get you there, and you're playing Josh Allen, who has a super, super high floor in the captain. Let's see. Who's the Bills' top tight end? It's Knox. Again, they don't really utilize their tight ends a whole lot, but yeah, Knox is their number one tight end. He'll probably play about half the game. Captain Westbrook, Josh Allen, Henry, Diggs, Singletary, and Beasley. Yes, that looks pretty similar to mine. Knox is the Bills' starting tight end, but he's not far ahead of Craw. Yep, exactly. Is A.J. Brown or Juju Smith more contrarian? I think they're a little bit more contrarian in the slate, A.J. Brown and Juju Smith. But that does not mean they're out of play, right? Because I think people are going to think pretty similar to my approach in, probably trying. The quarterbacks are always high owned, and the running backs are workhorse backs. So I think they're going to eat up a good amount of ownership at guys at the top. With Allen, Tannehill will pick up some ownership, and then obviously Henry and Singletary are going to be pretty high owned. So that's going to leave this mid range a little bit contrarian. This is kind of like the last slate too, basically, with the Chargers and the Saints, right? Those are the guys at the top that I knew were going to be high owned with both quarterbacks, with Kamara, and it was just the mid range that was a little bit more contrarian. But if you can find the mid range, gems like I did last slate with Sanders and Mike Williams, you're going to be in amazing shape. So, yeah, Smith, Beasley, both Raymond, Davis. These are all guys that are 100% playable. I think people are sleeping on Juju. I have no issue if you want to go Juju Smith. He's going to play a majority of the game. A lot of wide receivers out. Should get a good amount of targets. He's someone they can look to in the red zone. 3 touchdowns in 3 games. Yeah, I don't think... I mean, he will be a little bit lower owned, but the upside's there with him. Minus Captain Singletary, Allen, Tannehill, Diggs, Gostkowski, and Westbrook. How does that sound? I'm good with it. Do you think Juju Smith should have to block a lot more today? I don't know. I don't know if I'll have to block a ton more today. Is Brown one of the better plays? AJ Brown? I mean, we haven't seen him since week 1, so there's the risk of, was he dealing with a knee injury, of re-aggravating it, I guess. But, no Davis, no Humphreys. He's going to be the de facto, obviously, number 1 wide receiver here. I think he is a little bit more contrarian for his price on this slate. Captain Ferkser, okay, that's really risky, obviously. Allen, Tannehill, Diggs, Brown, Beasley. Yeah, there's risk there. But if Ferkser gets a couple catches, you're good. Don't need Tannehill for Westbrook at captain. Do need Henry though. Let's see, Ferkser or Westbrook. So that's a close one for me. It's going to be Westbrook. I think he gets plays about half the game, whereas Ferkser maybe like 35 to 40%. So that one's close, but I do think Westbrook does get a little bit more work there. How does this look? Captain Westbrook, Allen, Diggs, Singletary, Henry, and Beasley. Yeah, so again, that's a very similar build to what I'm going with. I'm taking the shot on Westbrook. It's a risk, but on these showdown sites, I'm willing to take risks. Favorite play below 1K, it's Westbrook for me. Diggs or Henry in the flex for cash. For cash, it's Henry. McKenzie over Davis, pretty much same target share. Yeah, but Davis is going to get a lot more work. If you want to go McKenzie, that's fine. He's a guy that I think he has a catch in all 4 games so far. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, and 1. He's a speedster. If you feel good about Isaiah McKenzie, go with it. Henry higher floor than Diggs for cash. Yep, definitely. Nick Westbrook, a keen season. I hope so. Let's see. Juno Woodley blocker all day, so I'm playing Ferkser. Captain Singletary, Allen, Henry, Brown, Davis, and Ferkser. AJ Brown or Tannehill? Well, are you playing cash? Are you playing GBPs? Tannehill has a higher floor, so cash, Tannehill for sure. GPPs, it's close for me with AJ Brown versus Tannehill. Let's see. Yeah, we got about 2 minutes until lock. I do appreciate all you guys coming to check out the live stream. I think we hit over 200 viewers, like 250 at one point. Does AJ Brown get lower ownership than Juju? It'll be close, I think. They are going to be a little bit lower owned. Like I think both quarterbacks with Allen, with Tannehill, are obviously getting ownership, and both running backs will too. Diggs, I think at the top with no John Brown is going to the top 5 guys here are going to be pretty high owned. So what is it going to be for AJ Brown, for Juju Smith? What's going to be left? I don't know. Let's get more likes in here, boys. Yeah, guys, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button. It does really help me out. I don't want to ask a ton in live streams. I know it's annoying and people are constantly asking for likes, but if you want to support the stream, it's all free content. So just, hit the like button if you do enjoy. I'm curious what the ownership is going to be. We'll go over it again once it comes out. Yeah, of course, guys. Thanks for your time, DK. Let's get it, fellas. Let's go, Cam. I like it. Appreciate you. Yeah, of course, guys. Again, no worries at all here. We are now at lock. Ownership always takes like a good, I'd say, minute or so to load in. So we'll go over some ownership, and then I'll get out of here. Free content, you go smash that like button. Appreciate it, guys. All right, boys, time for a takedown. Hope so. So the rare Tuesday Night Football. Ferkser listed as slot wide receiver. Do they have him listed as slot wide receiver? I mean, he's a decent pass catching tight end. It was a close call for me with him and Westbrook. How do you get? Thanks, man. Captaining Allen doesn't. Hopefully, captaining Allen. Well, no, I don't think it's going to hurt you. Like Allen has a super high floor. It's just you obviously had to take some risk on some cheaper guys to get him in there. Let's get this money. Thanks for all the tips, of course. Ferkser about to go off. Hey, again, it was a close call with me with Ferkser and Westbrook. I did go Westbrook, but okay. Well, that makes them look even better now, right? If they're going to use him more in the slot, which obviously maybe hurts Westbrook a little bit. We'll see. All right, so going over ownership right now. This is in. Let's see. I'll go over it in the $10 tournament, the big one. Westbrook coming in at 18% owned. Josh Allen 84%. Derrick Henry 48%. Stephon Diggs 57%. Singletary 48%. Cole Beasley at 29%. Again, that's the lineup I went with. A couple of people mentioned it in the chat. A.J. Brown, 22%. Oh, baby. Yeah, I'm not overly surprised. Juju Smith, 42%. I want to see how much Moss is owned. I think he will probably get like a couple percent of people. Dawson Knox, 10%. Croft, 12%. Gostkowski, 33% owned. That's a little bit higher than I expected, but I'm just scrolling through these. Let's see what else we got. Isaiah McKenzie, 18%. So at least in the $10, him and Westbrook are basically identical owned. Khalif Raymond is at 33% owned. Good luck tonight, guys. I'll go over a couple more here, and then I can get out of here. Anything else? Again, I'm not overly surprised by this ownership. I thought Derrick Henry might be a little bit higher owned, only 48%, but I get it, right? No real involvement in the passing game. Bills defense, 10%. Wasn't really looking to either defense. Beasley, 30%, hoping for the TD, then I'll be fine. If you play Henry, congrats, because whoever I fade does well. Henry, only 49%. Yeah, that's just Henry's the guy that I am a little bit surprised. I get it. I get why he's only 50% owned, because no real involvement in the passing game. But if the Titans are playing from ahead in this one, he's going to get probably close to 30%. I know Fisher had 100% earlier. LOL. Oh, wait. That was a lineup with Ferkser. Ferkser coming in at 20%. So him, Westbrook, McKenzie, we're all like the punt plays today. We'll see which one ends up working out here. All right, guys. Well, I really do appreciate you guys coming to check the live stream. Hope you guys have a good Showdown Slate. Hope you win some money. And I will be back. I'll do an early look video. The prices are finally up for the main slate. I'll have that up later, probably maybe around halftime or so. So be on the lookout for that. But thanks again, guys, and I will see you all later.